First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Sal Barbero is a local umpire and is on the line right now. Sal, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
$12,000 to see Brady. Give me a break.
Guys, can we stop talking football?
That's
Come
right.
on.
We haven't even gotten to baseball yet.
It's not even the seventh inning stretch.
Come on. Football's bad weather. Baseball's nice weather.
You're right. You're right. A very good point. I just played the wrong bed. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I apologize. Okay, let's. It is funny. We're just getting into the whole baseball thing. Is high school baseball underway now? I know believe it or not, spring football because of the pandemic. So, are you now umping high school baseball games?
Yeah, we started in. I want to say the end of April.
Okay, so it was all right. Yep. All right. Well,
we had a rough stretch of weather there. Some games being canceled, but the past week. 10 days we've been getting our games in.
Well, and this next week looks spectacular. Yeah, sunshine and 70s. So you'll enjoy that. All right. By the way, I just wanted to start out on some of the crazy. Here they've added instant replay, and from maybe I have this wrong, but here they've added instant replay, and there have been some of the worst calls in Major League Baseball that are not corrected by instant replay. What is going on out there?
Why have it?
Why have it? You're absolutely right.
I've always said if you're going to have instant replay,
all of it.
Replay all of it.
Yep.
Well, balls and strikes?
No, not balls and strikes.
No, it's not all of it then, Sal.
But a good example is the double play that occurred with the Mets last week, where they said the runner went out of the baseline.
Right.
And you clearly could see on the replay that he didn't go out of the baseline, except that was not reviewable. So he was out, but he shouldn't have been out. I mean, why not review that? It's just ridiculous.
That perfect example right there.
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
I agree. What if that was a playoff game? What if that was a World Series game?
Yep, you're right.
So,
stupid.
Yeah, I want to go back to the balls and strikes thing. Sal, would you be opposed to a digital strike zone in the majors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Why is it, there's never in a football game. I know we talked about football.
I'm with him. I'll tell you what.
They're taking, they want to take more of the human element out of the game.
Yeah, well, the human elephant, the human element. How about the human elephant
in the room?
Is this, in football, the goal line is the goal line. It's not, you don't cross the goal line because this official says, well, you only got to get to the half-yard line. And this guy says, well, that's a really good quarterback. And if he dove, I'm going to give him full credit for reaching the goal line. Just like you have guys who get 2 inches on the outside of the plate.
Terrible analogy. I think it's a bad analogy.
My point is this. Point is this.
Look at it this way. Do you want an umpire standing behind home plate with an earpiece in his ear, having a computer tell him it was a ball or a strike?
You don't even have to do that. You could set it up where you could have the ump behind the plate. He would still be the out and safe guy or fair or foul guy. But you could have it set it up where the communication doesn't come from a robot to an earpiece. It comes to like an LED light panel in the stadium where, I don't know, the scoreboard or the plate behind the catcher and the batter lights up green for a strike and red for a ball. And the fans and the player and the pitcher would all know at the same time exactly, is that a ball or a strike? I just feel like, look, the end zone is the end zone. In the NBA, whether you're 9 feet tall or you're 5 feet tall, it's 10 feet to put the ball in the
end zone is a good, and I'm sorry to take over on this, Sal, but because you are the expert, but I'll just give my non-expert opinion. The end zone is a line. It is the same thing as sliding into home plate and using replay to determine if he actually made it to the base. To me, those two are comparable, and I agree with instant replay on the foot touching the bag. I am all for that. I'm all for instant replay on the ball crossing the goal line. But there's a human element.
So as a plate umpire on a 3-2 pitch, and you ring somebody up, you got to sell that call. It's called selling the call. Mm-hmm. And you guys see it all the time. Each umpire, Major League Baseball, have their own way of doing it. How are they going to do that?
Well, so does a catcher, by the way.
Robotic system. I'm all totally against it, 100% against it.
I feel like it changes the game to the point where
to a more accurate one.
Well, I guess, but I'm a part of the game is is arguing over the fact that was outside.
That's
no,
true.
it wasn't. That was outside.
That's true.
And you take that part of the game away. I hate to say it, but error and judgment is a huge part of the game of baseball that I would not want to lose.
Everyone loves the human element until your slugger is up and he gets punched out on a pitch that's 3 inches outside in the World Series.
Well,
and then you go,
it would have never came up if they get rid of that stupid square that they put on the TV screen that they've been doing for probably the last 10 years. That's where it all started.
Well, obviously,
and
it's
the
question, technology.
And the question is, how accurate is that? Because you still see the announcers being like, well, it looks like that, boy, that was close. If it's that close, you got to swing, all right? I mean, you hear... Mm-hmm. I always told you the story about high school baseball with the local umpire that said, listen, I don't believe in walking, so if he pitches it, you better find a way to hit that ball.
So what's the line? They don't pay me to call balls. They pay me to call strikes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Lordy. Meanwhile,
Absolutely.
the bat would have to be 10 feet tall in order to be able to hit some of those pitches. Anyway, okay, what are we talking about, by the way? Baseball's back, right?
Baseball's back, and the reason why I came on today's program is I emailed the head of Section 3. His name is John Ratbund.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's been around for a long time.
Director.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, for years, and I'm saying years, and I'm guilty of this, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I emailed him about the 10-run rule. We're 2 weeks into the baseball season. I'm not going to tell you stories that I've heard from other umpires. I'm not going to put out schools' names that are out there. But just in the past 2 or 3 days, we've had scores of 19-1.
Wow.
This is varsity baseball. 19-1, 25-3, 22-14, and 18-8.
Holy cow.
Listen,
okay,
22-14 is a good game.
Tuesday night I was
good
doing
game.
a game. It was a JV game, not a varsity game. I'm not going to say who the teams were. The game was so out of control by the third inning. My partner says to me, Sal, I hope they play 5 innings. Don't you think the away team coach comes up to me, who's an umpire, great guy, and he was losing by probably 20, 25 runs.
Holy cow.
And he said, Sal, we're only going to play till the top of the 6th. I said, all right, whatever, you know. So I went home that night. I went to work that night, and I just emailed John Rathman, the director, and my gripe was, why can't Section 3 implement the 10-run rule? And I said to them, you guys are always preaching about player safety. How is player safety when it's 28-2 in the 4th inning?
Yeah.
And we got to play 6.5, maybe 7 full innings.
And
it's non-competitive.
Yeah.
Okay. The players don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
The fans don't want to be there. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It takes the umpires out of their game.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Listen,
meanwhile,
that's not baseball now. When the score is that out of control in the 3rd, 4th inning. And in the email I sent, listen, I said, Section 3 is a lawsuit away from a parent whose son broke his arm or broke his leg in a non-competitive game is going to say, why was Mike playing in a 30-2 game in the 5th inning?
Not to mention what it's doing to some kids, because there comes a certain point where, especially around here in high school ball, you don't have the pitchers. So there's going to come a point where you're going to leave the kid in.
You're absolutely right. Now they're bringing in kids that probably never pitched before.
Right. Yep.
So that's just going to make it even worse.
Yep. Yep.
You know. So and we hear it all the time. Blue, we're going to stop this game in the 5th or 6th because we got 3-4 more games this week.
Right.
We just don't have the pitching.
Yep.
Well, okay, then we're going to stop the game.
I think that's interesting.
He emailed me back, John. He said, listen, he goes, Sal, thank you for your concern. I'm going to send your email to so-and-so, and hopefully there's some recourse because Section 2, which is east of us, like Canada-Harry, Fort Plain, they have the 10-run rule.
They do.
And Section 3, which I believe is Utica, the North Country, and Syracuse.
I believe it
Don't
is.
have it.
So there are some travel. I seem to remember my son was. Summer
ball. Summer ball has the 10-run rule.
Yeah,
that is Little League, travel ball, 12U, 14U, 16U, 18U, Junior Legion, Senior Legion, all have a 10-run rule. Mm-hmm. The only one that doesn't have it is Section 3 high school.
Now, should it be 10, or would it be better if it was 15?
No, 10. 10. Here's what we do in modified. And we leave it up to the coaches. Yeah, we do implement the 15-run rule. Yeah. We'll say it to them at the pregame conference. Listen, this game gets out of hand. We're going to implement the 15-run rule. And, they both agree to it and go from there. Well, but JV varsity just don't have it.
I have so many thoughts.
Way overdue.
I wanted to argue again run rule. But I won't, because I think you laid out an example where everybody around us and then everybody who plays summer ball in this area, they all have a 10-run rule. So why is Section 3?
By the way, I would be against it in Major League Baseball. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
Especially as I mean, you're talking professionals.
It's rare that it happens in Major League Baseball. It doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen much. Right. You might get a blowout here and there.
Well, listen, as a Mets fan, I can only tell you, I'm thinking of a game right now where we're up by 10 runs and we end up losing the freaking game.
Yes.
So, it happens. But you're talking about professionals, and that is kind of cool, though, too, when you see a long game in Major League Baseball and they bring in somebody, the third baseman comes in and he hasn't pitched since college, and he pitched. That's kind of a cool
else's
thing.
Arm.
Yeah.
So, listen, do you think it's going to happen? Obviously, it wouldn't be this season.
I'm not going to take my foot off the pedal on this. I'm really not.
Yeah.
So I emailed him again this morning, John, and I gave him those scores. I said, John, just to let you know, these are varsity games in the past 2 days, and I emailed him the 19-1, the 25-3, the 18-8, and the 22-14 game.
Is there? I wonder if there's a. Part of the reason I wanted to argue against it was I was going to say, if these kids are losing 25-3. But all their games end after 3 innings. I mean, how much can they improve? But obviously, you can take that out on the practice
you got to go.
field.
If a 10-run rule, you got in a 7-inning game, you got to go at least 4.5.
Yeah.
If the home team's losing, you got to go full 5.
So, and I feel like it should be in or it shouldn't. You kind of said something. You said, I think you said we have a 15-run rule, and you said, listen, I say, guys, if it's going out of hand, we're gonna implement this mercy rule. Well, I mean, a 15-run game. Is there ever a 15-run game that's not out of hand?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that was what I'm saying. It either is or it isn't.
The other night that I had.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it was 20-something, maybe even 30.
It's a lot.
To like 1 or 2. And then the away team coach who was losing, he came up to me and said, "Sal, we're going to go play the top of the 6th." Which is smart.
I want to bring
it's frustrating. Like I said, it takes the umpires out of their game. Yeah. It's the fans are making comments. Let's get to end this game. Players make comments to me as they're coming up to bat. When are you going to end this game? Or are we in the last inning yet? They just comments like that.
Yeah.
I remember a game where my son got rocked. His senior year, he was pitching, got just crushed, and it was. I don't know. They were playing. I think it was Holland Patton, playing Sequoia. It was at Sequoia.
Was that enjoyable to watch?
It was awful because now they couldn't pull him because they've got 2 more games coming up this week. So my son was stuck there for 4 innings.
Sure.
And it was. I mean, I think they won by like 18 runs or something. It was awful. And it gets he gets worse. It it got frustrating. It got. It was terrible. So
then it's the kids' confidence levels are come down. And listen, we're losing. And I told you guys last interview, we're losing umpires at a record pace.
Yeah,
this is the worst I've ever seen in my 20 years. I know football's down to like 30-something officials, which is mind blowing.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, guys leave because they retire, they got too old, they can't do it anymore, or their hours got changed at work. Add this to it, because there's going to be a lot of umpires say, you know what, this is going to keep going on.
Yep,
I'm not umpiring.
Rick
I'm done. I'm quit. I can't do it anymore.
Rick is in Rome with a question about a game he was recently at. Hi, Rick, you're on. Sal Barbero is the ump you're talking to.
At a Herkimer County women's softball game, and it was a doubleheader, and it was 8 runs after 5 innings. And they called the game. I I was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, I was told. I talked to my signer yesterday, and he sent a text out to an umpire in our organization who also does women's softball, and he mentioned how they have the run rule in women's softball.
So it's an 8-run rule for that?
That late
that
in the
must
game.
be
after
wait,
5
Sal,
innings.
That must be at collegiate, because we also just got a call from a woman. She was attending the CVA modified softball game yesterday, and the score was 30-2.
Holy cow.
See, you guys, that's my point.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, as much as I wanted to disagree with Sal, it's hard.
Eight runs in a game is nothing. I was a high school soccer coach. I coached a couple of years in girls soccer, and it's a coach thing. If you're up in soccer, 8-0, you're not screaming at your girls to score another goal, and you're not beating the other team up.
Yeah.
You're passing more. You're using your opposite foot. Same thing with softball. Shame on a coach for winning 30-1.
No, I don't do that shame on thing. You don't send kids up to the plate, whether they're in college or high school, and tell them to go strike out because we're already up by 12.
Well, you're not building any confidence. I mean, what if you come back from 8 runs down? That's most confidence you could ever get.
But the message shouldn't be play down to the competition.
I get that, but eight runs is nothing.
It really is, especially in women's softball.
Okay. Rick, thanks. Interesting point there. Thank you.
Hey, they're playing today, by the way.
Oh,
Herkimer?
Herkimer women are playing Jefferson County Community College in the playoffs. Yep.
Okay,
luck,
cool.
2 games, doubleheader.
Right. Good deal. And I believe Herkimer's commencement ceremony is today, too. So
awesome.
Okay, now I got a game o'clock at Duluth. I got RFA versus West Genesee.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
See how that goes. All right.
Just one more on Sal.
By the way, how is it expected? Is West Genesee really good, or?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. Right.
So just one more. A typical game that you're doing, let's say varsity baseball game is what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, between a good game is 2 hours.
These 25-3s, what are they going?
Probably. Listen, good question, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something what happened yesterday. I got my vaccine on Tuesday. I was sick as a dog yesterday, and I'm still sick today. So I banged my game in yesterday. My buddy took my game. I'm not going to say where he went. You ready for this?
Yeah.
22-14. The game started at 4:30. They walked off the field at 8 o'clock.
Wow.
Look, I get that. But to me, that's a good game.
Yeah, but the problem is it's so long that you're discouraging kids to the point where they're not going to want to play anymore. And I hate to say it, but there is one community that does Little League where I forget what it is, but they to try to give the batter some confidence, they have to keep pitching until the batter basically hits the ball or strikes out. I don't know what their rule is, but those games go on for 3 and 4 hours, and you are not. It's terrible.
We leave, here's another example. It burns my ass when I'm doing a game. Okay, let's say like my game the other night was. Who knows what the score was? I know it was a lot to nothing, and the team who was winning, he's stealing his runners or taking extra bases on pass balls. Really?
Yeah. At some point, you gotta.
What are you gonna do?
Yep. Okay, Sal. Interesting stuff. We'll see what happens with this.
That's where I guess that's where I'll settle in on my disagreement.
Thank you so much, Sal Barbero.
Right.
And by the way, call up Sal if you want to be an umpire. They're looking for umps right now.
Should be a mercy
rule.
We're
looking for umps.
Should be a mercy rule, but I don't agree with telling the kids.
So in this Little League,
go strike out.
In this case of the Little League that I'm talking about, is there a lot of, and it's been so long since my kids played Little League, but I'm trying to remember the scenario, and I'm on the fly right now, on the spot, so I can't think of it. But it's just the point where they've gotten out of T-ball and now they're playing Little League, and the kids are pitching.
Yeah.
In T-ball, the coach pitches, right? So what would
minor league? That's what we used to call it.
I think it's minor league.
Yeah.
So in one district, I guess if that's what it's called, but in one community, after 5 pitches, the coach would come in and pitch.
I have seen this, yeah.
Whereas this other organization made sure that the kids had to. The coach never came in, and the rule was that the batter had to actually hit the ball. I think there wasn't even a strikeout in it. I don't know, whatever the rule was, but it went on. These at bats go on for 10 minutes, and the game went on and they would usually call the game because it got dark.
Yeah,
I mean, at some point we got to make this so that it's not unbearable for the not just the parents and everybody, but for the players.
Sal just texted in, and I was looking for a reason to disagree with him just for the heck of it, but he goes, tell the guys how in summer ball, in lower levels, they have a 5-run rule inning, so the games don't get out of hand. But again, I disagree with that too. So you're telling me, okay, it's the 5th inning, we're down 8-1. I can only score 5 runs in that inning? What if we were going to rally and score 9?
I don't agree with that either.
But there's many ways to do it, and I am sympathetic to what are we doing with 30-2? What are we doing, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see, back on the Brady thing. In spite of Brady leaving the Patriots, I think he's going to actually get applauded when he goes on the field in New England. And I kind of think in the same way that Harvey was applauded by the Mets crowd the other day. I think the same thing will happen.
Yeah,
I hope the same outcome, that New England. Very
right,
unlikely. But
Harvey got crushed, and you want to see New England crush Brady. Okay. Why are we talking football?